This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix. I didn't hear anything.
Me neither. Maybe they did. We'll never know. Anywho, so April.
Yes.
This world just keeps bringing out the crazies and the weird stuff. And so we decided to have an episode dedicated to the newest
Outbreak.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Of a monkeypox.
Uh-huh.
And what better movie to do than what?
Outbreak from 1995.
It just so happens to star a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
That monkey was actually Marcel in Friends.
Oh.
And it's actually a girl.
Okay.
If anybody needed to know. But I saw yesterday that this isn't even the newest or the latest. There's a new thing that's going on in the world.
Of course.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
The goats.
Oh, no, I didn't hear the goats.
Yeah, there's something with like goats and it's like traveling disease from goat to human, but it hasn't gotten to where it's human to human yet.
No, I see that polio's coming back. Ugh. I see that there was a case Smallpox. Of Legionnaires and that there's something else in China. I don't even know.
Did someone play Jumanji and just like let all the stuff free?
Dude, I feel like a lot of this is anti-vaxxers that just, okay, because people have been taking vaccines, for about 50 years, stuff started dying out and disappearing.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, I never had that growing up, or it wasn't that bad because you were vaccinated, that now they just feel like it's not a thing. And because of these anti-vaxxers, the stuff that never really disappeared completely is making its rounds.
Yeah, but the crazy part is that it's not coming from the United States. And I feel like we're the ones that have the most because non-vaxxers.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, these diseases never really died out completely in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
But it never really got very far when it got here. Mm-hmm. But because of the anti-vaxxers, it's spreading that way.
I didn't know we had polio here.
No, but they still had polio out in like Afghanistan and stuff like that.
Well, when you said polio was bad, I thought you meant like we've had a case here.
We do have cases here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Get vaccinated, people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to harp, like, do what you want to do, but you run the risk of hurting other people and yourself and your children. Just, go. We had to get our muscles, the MMR, whatever, measles, rubella, whatever, when I was a kid. Like, all those people that don't go and get their shot when they're going to college, you can get meningitis so easily in a college campus. And there are a lot of people that have lost limbs or become deaf or lost their vision because they could have gotten a simple shot and they didn't.
Here's my thing. I completely respect your decision of what to do with your body.
Yes.
But for the people that say they're worried about side effects.
Yeah.
Something's going to get you eventually.
Yeah.
You could get hit by a car, okay, and die tomorrow. The thing is that, like, nothing's 100% secure, safe, promised in anything that we do. The chances of you getting a reaction are so minute.
So minute.
And it's just like, I hate to say it, but like, you're not special. Like, come on, humans, we're all pretty much the same biologically. Yeah, there are things that make us unique and different. But for the most part, I mean, nothing's going to happen to you. And if it does, you know what? Something was going to happen to you anyways.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, like it's a very small, slim chance that something, especially if you're already an adult.
Yeah.
If you're an adult, it's very small that something's going to happen. I understand the kid side of it, but then maybe don't have your kids just running free, like homeschool them. If you're an anti-vaxxer, then your kid should be homeschooled, because all the other kids, like there are some kids that like health-wise can't get these vaccines. And now you're getting them sick because of your beliefs, and it just sucks. It's stupid. But we came here to have kind of fun with this outbreak of monkeypox.
Yeah.
By celebrating it.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. And it's not funny. And it is serious. But we, what's the point of doing a movie themed podcast if you can't
get with the times?
Yeah. So that's what we're here for.
Yes.
So this is the first time I think I've ever actually seen Outbreak.
Oh, really?
Like I'd heard of it. I've probably seen it here or there, like sporadically, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. So this was my first time.
So I have seen this movie at least twice before.
Oh, wow.
But watching it this time was really different.
It made me so mad.
Like living through a pandemic, you see how grossly inaccurate this movie is. It's horrible. Like,
see, I had the exact opposite feeling. I was like, this is a fucking blueprint of what can go wrong if you don't do the steps necessary. And we were like, hey, there's this movie. Let's just follow what the movie did. No, we should have done the exact opposite of what the movie did. They did everything wrong. And we need to not follow that. But for some reason, we're like, oh, hey, they didn't wear masks and protect themselves. They went to movies when they felt like shit.
Yeah. In their defense, though, they didn't know what they had. They didn't know how bad it was going to get. Because, like, this disease really did move quite quickly. But, yeah, I would love, there's no need to remake this movie because, in the future, there's going to be a pandemic movie. Yeah. But I would love, that's one of the things I kind of like wish I might have a kid just to like tell that story, be like, oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Yeah. Okay, that happened. And like, just to see like a kid watch the movie and be like, there's no way in hell that happens. Like, oh yes, it did.
It 100% did.
Like, we have lived through so much history.
So much.
And it would be so nice to like be old in a rocking chair.
Be like, come gather, children. Let me tell you.
And people might think that like you're delusional, and you're like, no, it's true. One day they announced that aliens were real, but then the next day they were talking about, and they're like, what happened to the aliens? Oh, well, it got buried by the next story.
Killer hornets came around and we completely forgot.
We just moved on to the next story.
There was a snake loose. Still haven't found it. No one talks about it. Anywho, so
yes,
this movie, I guess, as a synopsis, so the people at home that haven't seen it, like myself, will kind of understand what's happening. So basically, the government
in the 60s
went to, was it like in Nigeria or Africa, some country, and all the people there were getting really sick. And they weren't sure exactly what they had. And so instead of, because they couldn't treat them, they were dying
much too quickly.
Yeah. And it was really bad. And they were like, well, all we can do is just bomb them.
They took samples.
Yeah, they took samples.
Either they took samples or they created it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think in that one they took samples so then they could like eradicate it later if they needed to.
Okay.
So then they bombed it with the special bomb, and, everybody in the village died. Fast forward to there nowadays.
The 90s.
Yeah. And we have Dustin Hoffman's character, and he is working in a lab. He's in like the highest level of the lab. And
he works for the government in bio warfare, safety, whatever.
And
his ex-wife just got a new job with the CDC.
Yes. And they have to go on a trip, or he has to go on a trip with his crew back to some island because people are dying of some mysterious disease, and they believe it's sort of similar to...
I don't think they know what it is at that time.
Yeah, they were like, they thought it was Ebola, and then they're like, no, it's not Ebola. We're going to go there and check. So they went there, and then they find out that it's not airborne, but they don't know what it's coming from. Mm-hmm. And so they take their samples or whatever, and then they leave.
Meanwhile, what is it? Like, the pharmaceutical companies are buying monkeys to experiment on. Yeah. And so they capture a monkey, mm-hmm. and it gets shipped to like California.
Yeah.
And a dude that works at the dock stole a monkey.
Yes. But before that happens, one of the guys on the ship that the monkey was being transported on is like, befriends the monkey.
He is a cute monkey.
Yeah. And then we find out later that this guy has died. Mm-hmm. And oddly, it was the same monkey, same disease that the monkey is transporting to all these other people. Mm-hmm. And it starts to mutate. Well, the guy who took the monkey spit on him and he got sick. And then that guy took the monkey to a pet shop. There was a monkey already there because the pet owner sells exotic animals to people. Mm-hmm. And it got the monkey sick, and it got the pet owner sick, and it just went from there.
Yep. And then the original monkey thief flew to Boston.
Yeah.
Got his sister sick and a bunch of people over there sick as well, I think. But that's pretty much how it spread. Yeah. There's so many different types of strain of flu. Mm-hmm. So with this illness, there are many different strains. One of them, you can only get infected by actual contact with fluid. Yeah. And the second way is it's airborne.
Yes.
So at first, they thought they were dealing with the old school one once they get more information. And then later they find out there's two strands, and it is airborne.
Yes.
So the town where the monkey pet shop owner is from, it's a smaller community. Mm-hmm. So he gets a bunch of people sick at the movies.
Well, no. So he is at the goes to the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
There is a blood or a tech who is doing something with the blood, and he reaches in before the machine stops, and it like busts one of the vials, and blood just splurts all over him. And the doctor, who is not wearing a mask, by the way, no one in this hospital is wearing a mask.
Yeah.
The strange guy comes in with this rash, strange fever. He starts to bleed from the eyes, and they're like, oh, we don't need masks. What are masks? And then this guy, he gets blood all over him. They clean him up, and they're like, well, just go home. Quarantine. He said to quarantine. That is very important to what I'm about to say after this. He goes to the movies.
Yep.
And he is coughing, and he is hacking up a lung, and it just starts to spread. And basically everybody that was in that movie theater and in that, just the whole place, all get sick because of this guy. And I was just like, oh, this is driving me crazy. I was like, I hate all of you right now. Like, why? You felt like shit. Why did you go to the movies? Your boss told you to quarantine, man. You didn't know what it was. Why would you leave your house?
And you can ask that about people today.
Yeah.
So,
it's just like when I got sick with COVID, the second time, I didn't know that I had COVID. I had no idea. Had I known, I wouldn't have gone to work, but I didn't know that I had it until I was at work and I got that familiar feeling of the shaking and the body aches. And I was just like, oh no, I need to go home. And nobody else in my family, no one else was sick. And the person who got us sick hadn't really been sick yet. And, we all separately thought it was allergies because the weather was changing. It's, that time of year where all of us would have allergy stuff. We didn't put two and two together. Granted, I did say, I think this could be COVID. And they said, no, it's not. You're ridiculous. It's not COVID. It was COVID. I should not have gone to work.
Yeah.
But I went to work. And that was wrong.
But just think about it with you living in a world that has no pandemic in it. So, what exactly does it mean to quarantine?
True.
Like we've learned so much now. So in defense of people not wearing masks in the movie, I'm kind of on both sides. A, it's a movie. You don't want to really cover the actors' faces. B, they're actors and they're not actual medical professionals, and or C, they didn't really take it seriously. Although I think in the lab they would have, just because they're dealing with that. But again, you have to remember this is a movie, they're actors, so maybe the director's like, no masks. So
the doctors and the nurses should have been wearing them. At least the people in the background should have been wearing them, but they weren't. I was just like, what the hell?
And again, that just could be like, a visual director's decision, not necessarily, historically accurate.
It was a bad decision.
But I feel you. I remember there was one scene where they're now in the army lab and this lady's walking out of the lab and she takes off her mask before she even gets out. And like nowadays, you remember how it was like you have like a zero room where somebody helps you take off everything and like they're like we know so much more now.
Well, okay. Speaking of Kevin Spacey. So he is on the team with Dustin Hoffman. And Rene Russo. And they're trying, this is like before they really find out about it, but it's when everything is bad, like really bad, airborne, all that stuff. So when they're in the lab, and I don't know why, but they apparently have oxygen. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's like on a leash.
Yeah.
And you're attached to like the ceiling.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he's walking and his gets caught on something and it rips. Like, first of all, you have oxygen and those could get tangled for everybody. That doesn't seem smart, first of all. Secondly, your little lab outfits are that easily cuttable. That seems ridiculous. For safety reasons.
Yeah. Here's the thing when that scene, I was
so mad.
I was just like, even if all of these things happen, you're like in a safe room, you know, that should have been as close as contaminated free as possible. Right. Even if you did have an exposure, that doesn't mean you got it instantly. Right. Like you could still run out, take a shower, and then go quarantine. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have it.
Yeah. I thought that was a little far-fetched. Yeah. I was like, I don't think he would have gotten that sick that quickly. No. And then not to tell anybody.
Oh, as a medical professional, that pissed me off because he should know. He should know better.
Yeah. I was just like, what the hell, man? Like, I understand hoping for the best. Yeah. But it's like when people get stuck with a needle that they just injected into somebody who may have something. They're supposed to report it. You take the medicine and you hope for the best.
Yeah.
You don't hide it and then something happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stupid.
I know.
Oh, it made me so mad. I was like, damn you, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. And so another thing about this illness is that it kills really fast.
Yeah.
So
It's like a 48-hour window, something like that.
So before the pandemic started, there's a game called Plague. I loved playing that game. Loved it so much. When the pandemic came, I re-downloaded it, played it again. Let me tell you something of my experience with this game. If you kill people too quickly, it won't have a chance to spread.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll get too sick to spread it. So, you know, it's not in the best interest of the virus to kill that fast.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's a movie.
Yes.
So,
and like, they had so many opportunities to stop it from spreading. Why do you have experts if you don't listen to the experts?
here's my thing. Once they were in the village and all those people were out in the street, fucking take a gun and threaten them back into their houses.
Right?
You know, why wasn't the army people wearing masks? You don't want them to get sick.
Yeah,
Like,
I wondered the same thing.
I was just like, I just kept thinking of like China when they first started quarantining Wuhan.
Yeah.
You know, like, why aren't they, like, this is a smaller area. Why aren't they just like forcing these people back into their homes?
Well,
you know?
I actually wrote in here 25 years later and we still aren't quarantining correctly. And then I said, where is it? Something about people. People suck. That's all I know.
Like, it was such a small town. What, maybe 5,000 tops there? It looks smaller than that, you know? But it was a quaint, small town. And it's just, another issue I had is how quickly they had the cure. Okay, first of all, even if you came up with the cure, you know, you would need at least 24, 48 hours. You need time for the cultures to grow, you know, like it's just, it happened too quickly. And let's say some miracle happened and you actually made a cure in like what, 2-3 hours? Okay, let's say you made a cure in 1 hour. Fabulous. Even if that was plausible.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, this disease was completely pulverizing your internal organs.
Yeah.
Like it was melting them. That cure is not going to regrow your stomach.
Yeah.
You know, like you can say maybe the people that just got infected, you know, that their organs haven't shut down. Like your organs shut down, there's no coming back from that. You need a freaking transplant.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm sorry, Renee, you should have died.
Right?
You should have died. That cure could not have saved you. You're not just laying in bed, you know, in pain. Like this is destroying your insides completely.
Yeah. Oh, I put, of course, there are those that have rights when they're like, we have rights. I'm like, you're going about this the wrong way, guys. Like at one point I put, these doctors are useless.
I mean, in the beginning, they didn't know what they had.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like this is something new, okay. So we're looking at it from a perspective of having gone through a pandemic.
Yes.
So like if we were doctors and we got something, we had no idea what it was, our first thing would be, let's quarantine this person and let's, you know, figure out what it is, like 100%, you know, all hands on deck, you know, safety, PvP, whatever it's called, you know, but that's not their first, you know, reaction.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first dude, they thought he had a heart attack, the pet dude, because they weren't actually there to see when his symptoms happened.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then let's see here. I had something. Oh, so Susan said that the monkey is the hostess with the mostest. And I told her I would tell everybody she said that.
Good one, Susan. Good one.
Good job. Like, I don't know. It just drove me crazy. So this movie, when the pandemic first happened, it spiked in popularity. So in March of 2020, this was the number 10 most watched thing on Netflix.
Really?
Yes. And that was going against Tiger King.
So interesting. When the pandemic happened, I actually rewatched the movie Pandemic. And I actually bought it, I think, because I couldn't find it anywhere streaming. And I remember watching that movie. I also had issues like, they're not wearing their mask right. But again, I remember there was a part where they were like handing out food and people were like swarming.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, when I saw that the first time, I was like, why don't they just stand orderly? Why are they doing that? And then I remember, and then rewatching it, I was like, toilet paper, people fighting over toilet paper. So yeah, it's.
Well, we're 2 years into this, yeah?
Yeah. And I guess the pandemic is now over. I mean, it's not over, but like.
We'll see after school has really gotten going here.
Let's just face it. There's always, at this point, like they said, we're going to be stuck with it. There's going to be spikes back to school, spikes for Thanksgiving, spikes for Christmas. It's just going to continue to happen.
Yeah. Like there's a lady at work still doesn't wear her goddamn mask right. I'm sorry, but just covering your mouth is not enough. You're supposed to cover your fucking nose. Like it goes from your nose to your chin. That's where it's supposed to go. It's not helping anything if there's a big ass gap and it's under your nose. Drives me crazy. Every day I see it and it drives me crazy.
Do you guys still have to wear masks?
Those who are not vaccinated must wear masks. And she is one of the unvaccinated. So she must wear her mask. And technically she is wearing it, just not correctly. And it's infuriating.
And the thing is like, it's for your protection.
Yeah.
Like that's what I didn't get. Like you would think all these people that are anti-masks would be the first ones jumping to get a vaccine.
Right.
So,
but they weren't. They're like, no, I don't need a mask. I don't need a vaccine.
Yeah. Like I'm vaccinated. I wear a mask at work just because I'm there for so long with the same people. So interesting. At my doctor's office, they don't wear masks.
Really?
But at my dad, because I went to my dad's doctor's appointment today, you had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I know that I know we're going to have spikes and we're going to have times where it's not so heavy, but until it's more like the flu, it's going to be bad, like spikes and, so until it's
leveled out. More.
It's going to take another 2 or 3 years before that happens.
What's so interesting is I can see the spikes at work.
Right?
Oh my gosh. People always ask, oh, do you have any COVID tests? They're like, yeah, they're up front. And the people that say, oh, it's not for me. I was like, yeah right. And then I see what you're buying. Like there's just the standard things that you buy and you're like, okay, it's not for you.
Vitamin
fine.
C.
But it's for somebody in your household.
Right.
I can tell by what you're buying.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Unless they're all just personal shoppers and they're shopping for people.
Yeah.
We can tell.
Here's the thing. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
So one thing that bothered me about this movie, besides the COVID, the mask part, is when him and his ex-wife, they have the 2 dogs.
Yes, I'm mad at that too.
Can you not split them up? Like, is that not a thing? You can't just what is the movie? I had it written down. Man, it was a really Parent Trap it, and just one gets one gets the other.
Here's one of my biggest problems. She was on her way to the airport with that much shit.
Right?
And she didn't even have kettles for the dogs.
Yeah.
Like she has 2 toddlers with the dogs. And all of those boxes, like not even, like, are you going to drop off, are you going to like the storage unit to drop off those boxes? Like there's no way in hell you're taking all of that to the freaking airport.
No.
You know?
It's just like, what?
Like, there's no way.
Even in 95, you wouldn't have done that. You know?
Like, now we're much more progressive in allowing pets on a plane.
Yeah.
Like, on a leash. I can't see that happening in the 90s. No way.
Not 2 dogs.
No.
You might have been able to get away with 1, but not 2.
At least with 2 adults, you know?
Yeah. And they're big dogs.
They're Labradors.
Yeah. Like, not going to happen.
I hated... I didn't need their relationship.
Yeah, no.
You know, like I don't care about the stupid box of pictures.
No, that was useless.
Like, I didn't care. Like, and then at the end, he freaking takes his mask off.
Right.
I'm like, dude, that's stupid. What about your dogs if she dies?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, grandma's got the dogs. Like, it was just so dumb. This movie really made me mad, and it was so dumb in so many places.
Yes. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh,
when he took his goddamn mask off, I was like, son of a bitch, Cuba. That was your one rule.
He freaked out. Okay.
Go outside and take it off. Don't take it off inside.
Okay, here's the thing, right? He's not a regular army man, you know? He's a medical, well, like, in order to get into that, you have to go to medical school, you know? So he had to have like dealt with cadavers.
Yeah.
You know, he had to have done a sting like in a hospital.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he's freaking out. He's not just a regular military person. He went to medical school.
Yeah. And I was just like, you can't do that, but you can sit there and stare down another plane that's gonna try and hit you.
God, that was so dumb.
It was so and first, okay, I know it's a movie. I get it.
Yeah.
But be more realistic. That helicopter should have been out of gas.
Yeah.
Where did they gas up? They just kept getting in it and taking off. And I'm like, you don't have that much gas to just travel as much as you just did.
And there's no way in hell, right, that the newscasters would have had no idea somebody was breaking in.
Right.
Like, it's a news station. I'm sure they have a fence, security, and many doors, and maybe a floor or 2 between the front door and the on-air room.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if the casters were live, they may not know, but other people should have known. Block the door or stopped transmission. Like, it just... Well, actually, if you're a good newscaster, you would not have cut transmission.
Yeah, I would not have cut. But
you would have known they were coming. I would have changed the prompter and be like, oh my God, we're being invaded.
Yeah. It was just, there's so many things that were so unrealistic.
Yeah. Another thing about unrealistic is when they use that little girl as bait to get the monkey.
Right?
Like, I can see you having her lure the monkey, but not get that close.
No.
You know, like I would have had her maybe on the porch and tried to get the monkey to come to her.
Yeah.
Have the door open so that she can run inside in case the monkey comes charging at her.
Yeah, 'cause that monkey almost charged at her.
Oh my gosh. Like that was inhumane to have that little girl that close to the monkey.
So crazy.
It's just... And okay, again, it's so that's the problem with this film is that it's a movie.
Yes.
And you have to give them leniency so that they can tell their story. But it makes you wonder how much of this was to help the story along versus ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, versus maybe somebody who wrote it completely accurate. And then the CEOs of like Warner Brother, whoever this was, they're like, nope. Too much lingo. Cut it out. So it's hard to say how the script and filming of this movie came to be.
Yeah.
But watching it today was insanely aggravating.
And like watching Sam beg and plead for them to contain it right away. Contain what's going on. Let's, get everybody in quarantine. Let's contain it. And they were like, no, not yet. Oh, how infuriating.
Yeah.
Just if they knew what they know now, would things be different? And based on this movie, no. They would have done it exactly the same way because it's exactly how the movie did it too.
Like people don't believe. That's the thing. Yeah. You always have those people that are over paranoid and those that don't think anything bad will happen.
Yeah.
And I can see it going both ways. Like they said, you caused that scare with the Ebola and nothing came of it, you know?
But I would rather be scared and nothing happen than be lackadaisical and the shit show that we've been in the last 2 years,
But like for example, right now, polio's come back and it's like, well, okay, like okay, so when monkeypox hit, I was like, can I get a smallpox vaccine?
Yeah.
We don't even have it.
Yeah.
We would have to go to some other country where they're still like vaccinating for it to even get that.
Well, and they have vaccines for the monkeypox, but it's really hard to get. And
because it's not a thing.
Yeah, you have to go to certain states to get it. And it's expensive.
Oh, they make you pay for it?
I think so. At least the article I read said it was really expensive. But, who knows what's real, what's not.
Yeah. And like, I asked about it and they were like, yeah, but like, depending on your lifestyle, you may not be at risk. And I was like, I get that. But like, if it's not going to hurt me, why can't I have it?
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, I don't have the smallpox vaccine. Like, they stopped vaccinating us by the time we grew old.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mom and my dad have this mark on their arms. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's for smallpox. And I was like trying to find mine. And they're like, oh, you don't have it. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Which it does, but I'm not vaccinated for that.
Yeah.
And so like, I didn't think I would ever need it. And I still hope that I don't.
Right.
But why can't I have the smallpox vaccine?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I have it? I want it. So
yeah, it's annoying. And, I don't know. I just
like, seriously,
anger.
Why can't I just have it?
Yeah. Well, and like, okay, so you and I went out with some people last weekend, right? So I don't know if any of them have monkeypox. No one was at home sick, obviously, because they all came. I would assume none of them have it. But people were sharing drinks like crazy. I don't share drinks anyways. I have never been a person that would be like, oh, here, taste this. If you sip out of my drink, that is now your drink. It ain't my drink anymore because I'm not going to drink out of it. That's just always how I've been. My mom was the same way. I don't share drinks. I will pour mine into a cup for you, but I do not drink after people. And so I thought about this earlier today. I was like, well, I'm safe.
I'm not.
Yeah. Nobody else is, but I'm safe because I didn't drink after anybody.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, people were sharing drinks left and right. I was just like, good God.
All I was thinking was about COVID. I did not even think about monkeypox. I didn't. I was like, well, I'm vaccinated,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to get it
Yeah.
or that I will get it, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, the one thing you shouldn't do is share beverages. You know.
You live, you learn.
Yeah. But as far as I know, no one's sick with anything, so we should be fine. But you know, we've not gone out hardly at all.
Yeah.
Like we went out for my birthday.
Yeah.
Which we had dinner at a restaurant. That was in 2020, and then I may have gone out like 2 or 3 times after that. I've gone to a couple house parties.
That's about it for me.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's been 2 years, and that's all I've done. So, you know, and that's not where I got COVID either time I got COVID. I got it from work, and I got it from a family member who didn't tell my grandpa they were sick and got my grandpa sick.
My boss believes that I may have had it and just was asymptom. Like I didn't have symptoms because he was like, there's no way that you haven't got it.
My dad hasn't got it either, though.
I mean, but he could have not had symptoms. But remember how hard it was to get testing at the beginning?
Well, Sarah, my best friend, she is O positive like you. And her husband had COVID. She didn't get it. And she slept in the same bed with him. And everybody he worked with all had it. She didn't get it.
Yeah.
I had it. She didn't get it. I had it again. She didn't get it. So I think it's something to do with that O positive. My dad didn't get it. You didn't get it. She didn't get it. All 3 of you all have O positive.
There is a link there.
And you all saw me when I was at my most contagious.
Yeah.
So.
Like I've had exposures, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know if I have any real more about this movie. Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, watching this movie now, it was a pretty hard watch.
Yeah.
Because you're just critiquing everything that's wrong with it, everything that's unrealistic about it.
I didn't know that anthrax was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
In 95. I was like, oh, I thought that was newer.
You don't remember they used to mail it in the mail to the White House and the FBI?
Yeah, but I thought that was like after 2001.
I don't know. But I remember it happening.
I remember that as like, a late teenager, older adult, or younger adult. I remember that, but I don't remember it any time before then. But also, I would have been a kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't really pay attention.
I remember it happening. I don't know when. So.
Yeah. I said Cuba can't hang.
No, he can't.
He definitely could not hang.
But this movie was horribly... It was realistic in some points. I think it had more unrealistic scenes than realistic scenes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're not going to learn anything from this movie that you just haven't seen in the last 2 years.
No.
Honestly, you can skip this movie because it's probably just going to piss you off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible, but
I actually enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It angered me, but I did enjoy it. I think the real hero is the guy flying the plane, the other plane.
Oh, that missed into the ocean.
Oh, looks like a draft. Just took that right into the ocean. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
He's the real hero. Because he didn't have to do that.
And what's so interesting is that now we know that if something this serious was happening, the president would have been in the war room listening to all of this.
I was like, where the fuck is the president? Did anybody tell him?
Yeah.
That they found the monkey that could cure all this?
Like, he would have known.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been in the war room listening to this whole interaction.
And he would have been like, hey, man, step down.
Yeah. Like, that was another part. Like, I guess back then we would have never really... First of all, we've never even seen the war room back then.
Yeah.
We've seen it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like, what? You don't want to kill a whole town of people, especially some that are innocent, for no reason when some can be saved. One thing that did irritate me and irked me quite a bit was when these people that had it were wearing masks, walking the trail to where they were going to kill them all, to the tents. It's airborne and they're outside. And I thought that doesn't seem smart. But some of them were wearing masks. And I was like, really? Now you wear the mask? Oh, that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Made me so mad. Let's see here. Well, that's all I had, I think. I'm sure there's probably something and I'll be mad later, but hey.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Gas equals bullets, never an issue.
With the helicopter.
Yeah, I was like, bullets are always unlimited. Gas is always unlimited. Drives me crazy. I like the part where they faked him out with the fire when they were driving or flying and they like shot it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty clever.
Except you would still see them helicoptering in the horizon.
Right? I thought that too. But then I thought, well, maybe the smoke was big enough that maybe that's why.
It just depends on the angle.
And I'm pretty sure wherever they filmed this is the same place they filmed Top Gun Maverick because it looked very similar. I don't know if that's true, but I think it was. And I like that they brought up wind shear. I never heard of wind shear until like in the last 20 years. So that was fun.
So it turns out on March 13, it actually ranked the 4th most streamed movie on Netflix.
Wow, even higher.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
People were getting ready for the pandemic.
Dude, people were like freaking the fuck out.
I just remember like how we were like, oh, it's only gonna be like 2 weeks and then we'll be done.
We're just gonna bring the curve down.
Yeah, it's the curve. Just
like,
bring the curve
if
down.
we had, okay, here's what they should have said. Starting on this date, we're going to try to isolate so that we can bring the curve down. But what they did is they started it like today, which forced everyone to go out and buy shit.
Yeah.
Whereas now, mind you, people would have still panicked and still panic shopped.
Yeah.
But if you had told like a date, like, okay, you have these many days until we're going to go ahead and shut down for 2 weeks so that you can get your supplies and then stay home, you know? But people had to go out shopping. I get it. Like,
It's crazy. And honestly, if it was to start over, I don't think they would do anything differently, which sucks.
Here's the thing. If it, like, let's say we got another pandemic, like one of these Omicron things got really, really bad, no one's going to take it seriously. No. They're going to be like, oh, it wasn't that bad last time. They're panicking.
Yeah, only millions of people died, but it's not that bad.
And so that's the worst part. Yeah. Like, they're like, these new strains are more contagious and stuff like that. But
and also the reverse is going to happen. Us people are going to take it less serious, but the government is going to be very strict because they weren't strict last time. So then people are going to complain and they're going to fight against it because, they want to have their freedoms because, oh, it wasn't that bad last time.
Yeah.
Well, but we still have this fight every time the flu season comes around. If you just got your flu shot, the moment they start to offer the flu shot, no one would really get the flu. It'd probably go away and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But people wait and they wait until their friend down the street is coughing and hacking after they saw them last Sunday when they went and watched soccer practice. Well, then you go and get your flu shot. Well, hey, guess what?
And then you say the flu shot gave you the flu.
Guess what? No, it was Tammy when you saw her at soccer practice.
Yep.
That's how you got the flu because it takes a couple days before you realize that you're sick with it. So we can't even get that together. And it's been since what, 19 or 1820 or 1920, I don't know, 1910.
It's been a long time.
Like, we're never going to get together. People just do not care. But yeah, hopefully we had fun, made this light. I don't think we did, but hey, we tried.
Yes, we did.
All right. So April, if people want to complain and bicker about what we had to say,
We don't
where
want to
can they
rank
find
it?
us? Oh yeah. Yes. What do you want to say about it?
I'm going to rank this a 4 out of 10 outdated pandemics.
All right. I'm going to do a 6 out of 10. Should have worn a fucking mask and stayed home. You know, and not gone to a theater when you had chills and fever and shaking and coughing. You know, all of that jazz.
I will say that Sandra somehow got whooping cough. This was years ago.
Oh, okay.
And
we just saw her.
She gave me whooping cough.
Oh,
But we didn't know what it was. And we did go to the movies. And then it wasn't until her symptoms got super bad that I started looking up at her symptoms because she couldn't lay down.
Yeah.
You know, and I looked up the symptoms and I remember there was a little button that you push it so you can hear what the cough sounds and it's like a wheezing. And I was like, oh, Sandra has whooping cough. Oh my God, I have whooping cough. You know, but at that point, once you're sick, you know, there's nothing you can do. I did get vaccinated later for it. But I mean, we didn't know what it was.
I had a friend who had scarlet fever.
So who knows how many people we infected in the movies.
Right?
It's definitely airborne.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is one thing that has helped is that people are more not generous, but like
Considerate.
Thank you. About, okay, I have a sneeze, I have a cough. Maybe I should stay home. I'll sit this one out. Like, or not go to work. Even if their boss is pressuring them to be there. I think a lot of companies have really eased on people showing up even when they're sick.
Yeah.
Thankfully. That's the one good thing that has happened that's come out of this. Because really you shouldn't be there. If you're sick, you know, and we're not saying like you have a headache.
Yeah.
Like if you're actually coughing, if you're throwing up, if you have fevers, chills, hives, all of that, you should stay home. Don't come to work. And you should have never come to work.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody told me that they were sick, I'd be like, go home. I don't want you here because I don't want to get sick. So go home. So, all right, April, where can people find us?
Two Chicks Talking Flicks over on Instagram.
You can find us at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks at Gmail.
Two Chicks Talking Flicks on Facebook.
And Two Chicks Talkin Flicks on TikTok.
TikTok.
You don't stop.
Well, guys, stay tuned for next week's episode.
Ooh.
And stay safe.
Yes. Bye.
Toodles.
This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Girvani. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.